What other pastime activities did you have?
I learnt elocution as a young child, and I went into some of the Eisteddfods, and
So tell us about the elocutions. How did that happen? When did that start happening?
well, I couldn't tell you how old I was. I could have been around about 10, something like that.
Where would you go for those?
I went into the city. There was I can't think of their names. I went into the city to learn elocution, and I used to go of a Saturday morning there.
And what would you do? Or was it a one-to-one teaching system?
Yes, it was one-to-one, and you had, and then they had like a little group where she would do an act, and that would be the end of the year. So you'd either be in a little play, or things like that. Later on, I joined a theatrical group, and we did plays there, and I was and also I learnt elocution from the teacher who was in the theatrical group. And then I thought I'd do my letters. My mother encouraged me to go further with it.
Now tell me about these letters. I'm not too...
Well, you had to go for exams, and you had to know something about the great, like Shakespeare and those great people. You had to know things about their plays and things like that.
And who was that organised by the people that were doing the elocution?
Well, there was the...
It's all right.
I've forgotten the name of the place which governed all elocution teachers, and
nice.
they ran the Eisteddfods, and they ran all these exams.
And they ran the ladders as well?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And that ladders was like knowing about literature?
Yes, it was, yes. And who wrote poems and the great poets and everything else. You had to know a lot about that. But my person who was teaching me at the time got very sick. So sometimes when I went to get a lesson, she couldn't teach me. And then in that time period, my mother died, and I lost interest. And I didn't bother going for my letters. I decided I didn't have the interest, and apart from that, I would have had to go to another teacher, and I felt I just didn't want to be bothered about it. I was a teenager, and at that time, I just didn't want to be.
Tell me about the Eisteddfods. What is this, when your mother was alive?
Oh, well, they were held. There was one held at Norman Park, and you enter for the particular ones. You know, there were various things you entered for. There was drama, there was just the ordinary poems to say, there was Bible reading, you could say something out of, well, they had set things to do, so you entered as much as you could, and sometimes I got first, sometimes I got third, other times I didn't get anything. But you know, Do you
remember what you did things, well, especially what you won the awards?
Oh, I've got certificates, but I'd have to go and look at them.
To see what you won.
Me, eh?
What you did.
Eh?
Just remember what you did.
Oh, well, I remember I had to say a poem, and I came off the stage feeling I didn't do too good there, and I ended up by winning it. So I was rather surprised at that situation. But I can remember her saying that I felt what I was saying. So I suppose that paid off. But no, it was an interesting pastime.